Hello, my name's Jennifer. I'm from South Korea. I studied nursing in Australia for 4 years, and then I stayed there while I was studying. And after I finished studying, I came back to Korea. Before that, studied art. I studied fine art in Korea, so I went to universities not having master's degree. So, anyways, I came back to Korea and I worked a little bit as a nurse, and then I just got married. And after marrying for 3 years, I had my first child. He's 16 months now, and I'm stayed at home at the moment. And
Okay.
while I was raising my child, it was very difficult, and I had postpartum depression. So I joined Toastmasters, and it is quite helpful for me to refresh my mind and just having different thoughts other than childcare. Yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Wow. You're being really vulnerable here. Thank you. It's not easy to say, I went through the difficult time while I was having my first child. I had the problem with this, and I didn't even realize what I had. I was so
Mm,
upset, angry,
yeah,
but at something. I didn't know what it was. And I found
it's just yeah.
Toastmasters to express my emotion and find the
Mm.
connection between me and my motherhood.
Yeah, we were used to be like focusing on what we want to do and what we want to study or what sort of work we want to do. But now we have to meet our child's needs and take care of the child. So it's a bit difficult to do that while it's juggling two different work. So it's quite difficult. Yeah.
Mm. You briefly talked about like the differences between being alone in Australia and also like having a family in South Korea, but I like to go deeper. So
Mm-hmm.
you've had a fascinating journey transitioning from being a nurse in Australia to building a family here in South Korea. So, how
Mm-hmm.
has the transition into motherhood been for you so far with your beautiful baby boy? But that means, like, I know you went through difficulties, but what are the great things that you experienced? And what are the difficulties that you specifically can tell the audience? Like, what kind of
Well, mhm.
experiences?
Honestly, it's been a very emotional transition for me. Before becoming a mother, I was very focused on my self-development and my career as a nurse, etc. So sometimes I feel like I lost part of my old identity after becoming a mom. It feels a little unfamiliar and difficult at times. My baby boy is adorable and he gives me a lot of joy, but motherhood is also much harder than what I expected. Physically, mentally, and emotionally, it's really mentally draining. But I'm still learning how to balance taking care of him while also trying not to lose myself in the process. Being a nurse definitely helped me in some ways. I'm used to handling stressful situations, multitasking, and getting things done quickly and efficiently, and managing routines. Um, but raising a child requires a completely different kind of patience. Babies are not like tasks that we can handle in a strict or logical way. Sometimes my baby cries for no reason, or he gets just fussy for a long time, and it's just I just couldn't give him solutions right away. I have to try different things, and I have to provide him comfort, attention, and emotional support. The part can be difficult for me sometimes because I naturally tend to approach things in a very practical way, and motherhood is nothing like that. Um, it taught me to slow down and be more emotionally patient and break things down and explain to him a million times, but he still doesn't get it because he's just a baby. It's just very different from what I'm used to. But I'm just trying to adapt into new situation. Yeah, but I do love my son, and he's so adorable. So just making him smile makes my day. Yeah.
I know it's not easy to juggle so many different things at the same time, but as a mom, it's necessary. That's the skill that you have to learn, isn't it?
Yeah, I tend to forget a lot of things because I'm just so busy doing so many things at the same time. So I'm all over the place.
You mentioned about postpartum depression. I think this is
Hmm.
a common symptom that mothers have, but we barely talk about it. And I think it's
Yeah.
really important to bring this up because I was searching for the cause. I blamed my family for it, but it wasn't my
Mm,
family. I found my
mm,
own reason. That was the frame that I had. How about you?
mm.
Like, what do you think the cause of the symptom that you had?
I had nothing. I had not no knowledge about taking care of babies before. That's one of the reason I think. And I went to art school, which means I'm exploring myself and my feelings. And it's okay to be sensitive in that environment. But when you're taking care of other people, you have to focus on other people's needs and it's not just about you. You have to take care of your baby's needs, like when he's going to be hungry, or why is he angry, why is he frustrated, or does he want more attention or love or affection and things like that. I had no idea before having him. And I don't know, I just like to take time for me to sit down and read books or um, write journals or write essays and things like that. But I just simply can't have much time to focus on those kind of activities anymore. So that's a bit frustrating as well. Yeah, and my husband is super busy, and my parents and in-laws are quite far away, so I just didn't have much support. I think those are the reasons for me to be in this difficult situation. But everyone's different, everyone's personality is different, and situations different. So, yeah, I think that's just my story.
So, physical, I don't know, like maybe you can say physical difficulties and also confusion mentally. It's confusing, isn't it? Like you don't know what's the best solution for your baby.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
you can't really get advices from your family members or even AI, even though we do have so many resources. There's not a great, perfect answer for suiting your baby, isn't it?
That's right. You just can't ask AI to do childcare or caring for elderly people. And you have to be there for him, and you just couldn't really do anything else other than that. So that's a bit frustrating for me. Yeah, even though I do love my child, sometimes lack of sleep makes me really tired, and I just don't have much energy sometimes. So I think that's quite difficult for me.
I totally feel you. I think the struggle that I had, it was from loneliness, the complete loneliness.
True,
I had no one to
absolutely.
lean on.
That's right. And it's a bit hard for me to meet other adults because my
Mm,
baby's nap time and meal time is getting in the way. So I don't want to be rude and I don't want it to be a nuisance. So it's just difficult for me to make appointments and go out because I have so much luggage to carry. So I just gave up.
mm,
Yeah. So that's why I go to online meetings. It's just helpful for
mm.
me to refresh myself.
That's great to
It's just,
hear.
yeah,
Um,
it's sad, isn't it?
it's sad. I can feel you because I was there. I had those kind of moments. I felt lost. I was confused. The loneliness, it really dragged me down, and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, it
That
was
was,
frustrating because I
mm,
and you are very adventurous and like to meet other people. And listen to other people's story and want to relate to other people's story and love their resonance. But it's
Mhm.
hard to do that while you're carrying your baby around.
Right. Yeah, and I love my family. I love my daughter. But at the
Oh yeah.
time, how I felt was my family or the situation, and just the surroundings that I had, those impeded my creativity, my
Oh yeah.
passion for work. That's why I think I was so furious at the time.
Yeah, I can
And
totally relate.
and welcome to Toastmasters. Beside that, like you have someone to talk to, and you have the stage to talk about your own problems, and you can find your own answers by writing down your own problems. I
That's
think you
true.
can.
It's a great
Mhm.
outlet for me to refresh myself and talk to other people and talk about something thought-provoking ideas and yeah, great stories. And it's really great.
And how I felt when I joined Toastmasters, I was wondering, like, why are they listening to me so attentively? Is it actually, are they trying to rip me off or something? But like, they were so supportive, and at the same time, I realized that in this fast-paced society, nobody is trying to listen to you. No
That's
one
right.
is going to listen to your story unless they are your therapists.
That's right. Everybody's on YouTube. They want to talk about their life, not listening to other people's stories. But yeah, like you said, and like Ron Baker said, people would pay millions of dollars to improve their leadership skills and improve their public speaking skills. So, uh, yeah, it's a great outlet for everyone to join in and have this support environment and, yeah, share their ideas and improve their skills. It's just really wonderful and great community.
Yeah, so I hope that like you can find your own comfort in this platform. And now let's dig into the different cultures between Australia versus South Korea. Like how
Sure.
how are they different about the parenting culture?
I think one of the biggest differences I've noticed in the is the level of government support for childcare. In countries like Australia and the US, childcare can be very expensive, so families choose to keep their child at home until five-ish. In Korea, the government provides much more support for daycare and childcare centers, so personal financial burden on parents is relatively lower, is what I've observed. And I've also noticed that grandparents are often more engaged and involved in helping raising children in Korea, which is a huge support for parents. At the same time, parenting in Korea can feel more education focused and competitive. Mothers sometimes seem to experience more pressure regarding their children's development, education, and milestones. In Australia, I feel there's generally more emphasis on outdoor activities like swimming and basketball, um, growing independence, and a more relaxed parenting style. There's also seemed to be more open conversation around mother's mental health and the importance of personal time and self-care. Another interesting difference is the postpartum care culture. Korea has very well developed postpartum care systems, like postpartum care centers, which can provide a lot of practical support and recovery time for new mothers. We didn't have that in Australia. After being in one day in hospital, you just go home, and husband does all the work, and it's a lot of pressure for new moms and new dads. Another difference I've noticed is attitudes towards foreign teachers in childcare settings. In Australia, it's so multicultural, so it seems very normal and widely accepted to have daycare teachers from diverse cultural and ethnic backgrounds. But that's not the situation in Korea. Um, Parents are still a bit more hesitant or less comfortable with foreign teachers in daycare centers. I think that's what I've observed. Yeah, and
Mhm.
yeah, Korea can be you can get support and convenience from in terms of healthcare and childcare infrastructure. Pediatric clinics are easy to access, and there are many services and facilities designed for families with young children. It's getting better, but yeah, we didn't have that in the 90s. At the same time, um, daily life with a baby can still be very challenging. Korea is very fast paced, and sometimes I feel pressure from social expectations around parenting and child development. As a new mother, it can feel like people are constantly judging and observing evaluation how you raise your child. Like you meet a stranger on the street. Older strangers in public sometimes can make very personal or unsolicited comments about parenting or babies. We don't have personal boundaries in Korea, especially from elderly women. There can be a lot of
Right,
opinions or advice, even though you didn't ask for it.
right,
Even just people from you don't know you meet on the street and they just started to judge you, and
right,
I'm
right.
like, what?
So
I know.
hold on. You listed so
Uh-huh.
many different things at the same time. So I like to ask you some
Sure,
details
sure.
about this. So we have like great infrastructure in South Korea and also very supportive like daycare system and healthcare system. Then why do you think Korean mothers are not happy?
I think Korea people are more uptight and very strict, and they're just really worried about everything. Well, I tend to not to do that, but I'm just like a chill, weird mom. But other people are just like freaking out over nothing. I think there are so many things and rules to follow, but I think in Australia and in the United States, they have greener spaces, so they go out in the park with their little toddlers and little babies, and they crawl on the ground and sand, but they don't worry too much. That's what I observed. But Korean mothers are just really worried about, uh, I don't know, diseases or developmental stages and things like that, I guess.
I think you brought an interesting point about this because you said unsolicited advice people give. That
Oh
means
yeah.
people are watching over each other.
Oh
And we
yeah.
do have to care about what other people would think about us so
Oh
often.
yeah. Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
why, yeah, as a mom, I don't think I felt I was good enough ever.
Oh yeah. You get judgments
I,
all the time.
yeah. And whatever I decide for my child, it's not good enough.
I
They
think
are
it's
always saying
just
that,
they call
yeah,
it it's
mm-hmm,
form of love, but well, as a new mom, we didn't ask for that. But
mm-hmm.
anyways, they just cross the line and they just give advice that we didn't necessarily ask for, but it's just no personal boundaries. I think it's just cultural difference. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
being judgmental and Asian people to have tend to have their want to keep their face, and other people's judgments is so important in Asian culture. But I think Westerners just don't care about other people. It's more individualistic.
The conflict between the education system, or I can say teachers and parents, I thought like those were quite interesting for me because we have very close relationships. That's why these conflicts are coming out. Like,
Oh yeah, it can be
I feel
tiring.
always, yeah, I feel always judged by others. And also as a teacher, I'm also a teacher, right? I
Oh
feel
yeah.
that I am judged also by the, parents. So I think this is it. Like we don't want it, but we're uh too uptight and we're too close to each other and we don't allow the personal space.
That's
And
so
that's
true.
why, yeah, we don't have the respect for others. And because
People
we
was
don't
just
allow
walk,
to be different.
yeah, people would just
Mhm.
rock up and just say what they want to say, and they don't think it's rude, but I think it's just a huge cultural difference. Uh, yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, that's really interesting observation that you had.
but I didn't
And
grow my child in other countries, so I wouldn't know in detail. That's just what I'm thinking while observing other people.
yeah, I'm so sad these days as a mom because people see moms irrational, and also there's the culture like shaming moms, and also even call them like momchung. How dare
Mm.
you? Like you have your mother. But then I
Yeah,
see
that's right.
sometimes moms being irrational. I understand, but we are not trained to be moms. Never. Like
That's
we were
right. That's
also
right.
educated to be a successful person, you
Oh
know?
yeah, yeah. I think I've definitely felt some of that pressure once you become a mom. You suddenly feel like everything you do is being observed and evaluated because of the environment. I think many mothers become emotionally sensitive or defensive, not because they're irrational, but because they are under constant pressure and judgment. Before becoming a mom myself, I probably didn't fully understand how mentally exhausting that would be. Now I understand a lot of mothers are simply trying to do their best while carrying a huge emotional and physical load of baggage every day. Well, it's like becoming a disabled person. You just couldn't really travel far away while you're having a young child, and it's really tiring. But people wouldn't get it unless they experience it, so they just hate moms. But when you put yourself in other people's shoes, you'll know. But well, I didn't know when I was young, but yeah, it's just going into a very different state.
Right, right. Do you also agree on people blaming moms about like involving in the education system too closely or too often? Like, do you understand? Like, they try to manipulate the system sometimes. Do you actually see that?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think there are a lot of fear-based marketing around educational system in Korea. Parents are constantly exposed to messages suggesting that if you don't do this, if you don't start this early enough, your will get behind, might fall behind, and you need this tutoring, you need to do these activities and things like that. It's really tiring to follow all of those rules and curriculums. Uh, yeah, I think Korea's educational system is very competitive and it's a bit crazy. People people really focus on academic success from a young age. That naturally creates anxiety and pressure for both parents and teachers. So yeah, that's quite huge in Korea.
While I was having a conversation with you, I realized we are trying to manipulate others, not just moms, but as members of this community, the society. I try to manipulate the system too. So this is
Mm.
so awkward that we're blaming each other, but we are actually we actually have the same reason or same cause underneath.
Well, it's a
Why we are
big
driving,
business.
like this direction, like
Yeah,
hating each
but
other.
yeah, that's right. It's a complex. problem. The kind of environment can create a lot of anxiety and guilt for parents, especially mothers. Sometimes it feels like business are profiting from parents' fears and insecurities about their children's future. But I do get it. It's really worrying that your child's going to be behind. But yeah, I don't know the answer for this, unfortunately, though. I
Hmm.
Yeah, but I'm kind of skeptical of fear-based educational marketing because sometimes it feels like parents are being pressured into believing in that every small delay or difference needs to be fixed immediately, when in reality,
Hmm.
children develop in very different ways. Of course, support and education are important, but I think every child needs to be pushed aggressively from such an early age. Yeah,
Hmm.
but I've observed this culture in Sydney as well. I noticed that some immigrants communities, especially many from China or Indian communities, they were extremely focused on academic achievements and university entrance scores, since ATAR scores strongly influence which university programs students can enter. There's often intense competition around getting into prestigious fields like medicine or law. So I guess it's everywhere. But yeah, Korea is quite intense, and sometimes it's just too much because children have mental health issues quite often. So yeah,
This
but my
competitive
children is so young,
culture,
so yeah,
yeah,
it's a
this
big conversation, isn't
competitive
it?
culture is causing a lot of different problems, I guess, like
Oh yeah,
conflict between moms and teachers and conflict between
oh yeah, yeah.
children and adults. Wow, we have to really think about that.
That's a
Yeah, we need
whole
to
another
change.
conversation, isn't it?
It
Yeah,
is.
it's
It
true.
is. It's not just about parenting. This is the societal issue that everyone needs to talk about.
Yeah, you have to think at some point in your life what sort of people, what kind of person you want to um, be, and what sort of person your child want to be. It's a it's a big question.
Yeah. And education system is not just about like raising our children. Also, we need to talk about how we are going to educate ourselves to be better human beings.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, in this competitive process, I think people tend to lose their humanity side
Mm-hmm,
sometimes.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Seems like individualism is getting popular, but at the same time, we try to manipulate, even though individualism is so important these days. It's
Yeah,
odd. We do
I know.
have,
It's a bit
yeah, such
complicated.
a complicated situation here.
That's
Okay.
right.
Um, yeah, it's already been 30 minutes, so I probably
Oh,
will
okay.
wrap up. We talked about like
Sure.
why you joined Toastmasters before, so let's move on to the last part of it.
Hmm.
To conclude the interview on an empowering note, what is one thing you wish society understand better about the reality of raising a child in South Korea today?
One thing I wish society understood better is that raising a child today is not just physically demanding, it's mentally and emotionally overwhelming as well. Mothers are constantly exposed to information, comparison, judgment, and pressure from society, social media, and even strangers on the street. I think many parents are not trying to be perfect parents, they're simply exhausted and trying their best in a very competitive and fast paced environment. Sometimes what mothers need most is not criticism or advice, but empathy, practical support, and understanding. Just telling them, I was like that, and I got out of that situation doing this and that. So that would be quite helpful for expat moms or new moms who are struggling, I would say please don't isolate yourself. Just go somewhere. I know it's tempting to stay home because everything feels exhausting, especially with a baby, but finding a small community can make a huge difference. Also, try not to compare yourself too much to what you see online or to other parents. But most importantly, becoming mother does not mean losing yourself forever. It may take time, but little by little, you can reconnect with your identity, interests, friendships, and dreams again, or find a good community.
I have goosebumps here. Yeah, I got um what you have over there. I kind of feel you just because, yeah, that was why I started this podcast. I want to share
Mm,
my difficulties. I wanted to hear from my allies or mothers or someone out there who can tell me the right answers. I was seeking for different ways. And
yeah, I really enjoyed listening to your podcast. I think it's really brutally honest and candid story. It's difficult to put yourself in a vulnerable position, and you did that. And I think it's really brave to talk about it. It's not
I
easy.
definitely hope that this kind of common ground small talk can transcend boundaries between people.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
yeah, yeah. So thank you,
I hope
Jennifer,
someone
for
listen to these
yeah.
stories and come join us.
And talk about their own problems too. It's okay. We are learning from our failures. But you know what, Jennifer? I like to share something. I know you are having a difficult time. I've been there and done that. Now I'm the stage that I can say, I love my life. I
Mm,
enjoy it. Being a mom is my identity. And I chose to be a mom, and I'm proud of
yeah,
it, you know?
that's really good to hear.
Yeah. And you will earn the prize in the end. You have someone who loves you more than anyone can do. You
I
know, like
know.
this is such a gift that mothers have. So let's celebrate our motherhood.
Oh yeah, childrens are just adorable. I just love them so much. Thank you for this opportunity for me to share my story today. And
Yeah, it
your
was
story
very
is so
enjoyable.
empowering. Yeah.
And thank you so much, Jennifer. I hope that you can go back to your house with a big smile on.
I'll do that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. See you next time, Jennifer.
See you. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.